making sure you guys are all cozy while we're just winging it and figuring out how to get the systems going. One thing I would like to address is the new material that I'll be putting out for our chants. It's very simple. Hold the line, boys. Don't let go, boys. Keep your eyes on the prize, boys. Hold the line, gals. Don't let go, gals. Keep your eyes on the prize, gals. I went marching to Dougie's on Saturday with Paul Irwin, and I see my sisters, and we stand united with the church from Almer. Praise the Lord, boys. Let us rise up, boys. Rise up, 'cause I'm here, and it is clear that we are near, not 6 feet apart, 'cause we are in our hearts, and we are peaceful here together. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. To the farmers out there, boys, I see you. We are there, boys, 'cause we need our solidarity, liberty, and of course, freedom. Freedom ring across Dundas to Montreal and Newfoundland. Now I stand proud, 'cause I am a Toronto Yahoo, 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 Yahoo. My sister, thanks for coming. Hold the signs up in Jesus' name, boy. Hallelujah. And any name that's peaceful. We are here and we are loving, 'cause oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, and all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true, most strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Hallelujah, 'cause I'm marching at 1 o'clock. God be willing.
Step back a bit.
Freedom. Freedom.
Step back a little bit.
Freedom. That's as far as I go, brother.
Okay, thanks, brother. Thanks.
Would you like to step?
No. Okay, I can step on the other side.
Yeah, you're more than welcome.
Thanks.
Feel free to share the umbrella.
Hey, I can do that.
Hey.
Here, you take it.
Oh, thank you. Can I get a little liberté? A liberté? Freedom? Freedom. Vaccine Choice Canada. It's a pleasure to see us and you being here. Thank you for your continued support. Shout out to the Mythos Canada, to Sasha Stone, Hugs Over Mass, Colin, Vlad, all our fellow patriots who are here physically with all of us here now, also digitally and spiritually. We know you're out there because remember, we are local, we are provincial, we are provincial, municipal, we're also galactic. Everybody is watching. What you do matters. It matters so much that they will say, stand 6 feet away. That's okay, because that's what they have to say. I'm here to say, liberté, a little freedom, and a rise up. Now, there's something I also need to note, is that as we're out here in the rain, I'm very happy to see all your faces. You have a strong will to be out here. I congratulate the warrior spirit within all of you for standing in. Your feet will be getting cold. Feel inspired to dance. Please feel inspired to walk about. Yeah. Aye, exactly. We are Canadian. We hired the most Canadian a long time ago, and something I want to announce is I see a new Canadian. There's a new Canadian amongst us. This new Canadian wears wonderful coats. This new Canadian does not say sorry. This new Canadian will not apologize for standing for their country. Freedom. This new Canadian knows what they do is in the forgiveness of their hearts. This new Canadian does not get violent when violence comes amongst them because they know those who are violent do not know what they're doing. This new Canadian will not be angry with those who cast the first stone because they do not know what they do. This new Canadian is forgiving, is loving, but does not forget. Lest we forget those who have fallen before us, those that are buried underneath our feet today. Let us remind ourselves and unify with that spirit that we are here in peace. We are here with love. We are here not to defy, to unify. We are not disobeying. We are obeying. We are obeying the supremacy of God, which we all recognize as the supreme ruler, not the rule of man and not the rule of law. As much as I enjoy our boys in blue, recognize, my friends, you cannot tell us what to do. We will not tell you what to do because you are a free human being. Yes, if we decide to commit violence, I respect your choice to detain us. I personally feel the same way at times. If my brothers and sisters are yelling, I kind of want to slap them up the head, but that's their choice. This is what freedom looks like. We have the freedom to yell in the rain.
God gave us freedom.
God gave us freedom. And if freedom is too much, what is worth living for?
The Constitution.
The Constitution, hallelujah. All that and more. We're here to say, we love all of you. All your choices, everything that you've done throughout your whole life has led you here. It has led you to be the free person that you are. I see a gentleman approaching. I saw you on the streetcar a long time ago. We glanced. I'm looking at you. I met you on the streetcar. Yes, you. I met you last week or a couple days ago. We nodded heads. We said nothing, but we acknowledged we were free people. We did not need to tell people on the streetcar that we have exemptions because they could see it, self-evident. Just as freedom is self-evident. Exactly. Aye. And remember, the Sith will always betray one another. We are not of that ilk. We will stand with each other through thick and thin, blood, rain, and soil. Soot, so be it. I'm listening. What do I hear? Sounds like a bit of liberty out there. Cheers for freedom! I salute. An ode to liberty. Well, there's something that I've read the other night that I want to share with you. It's a bit of a long monologue, but I'm sure you've heard it before. Maybe in high school. It has a feeling of, what is the purpose? Why go on? For to be or not to be? That is the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or should we bear arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing it we will end them. But to die, or to sleep, no
A little
more.
bit over this too.
Or by a sleep,
Cameras don't want
to say we end the heartache in thousand natural shocks that the flesh is heir to. For it is a consummation devoutly to be wished to die. But to sleep, that means the perchance to dream. That's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come. When we shuffle off this mortal coil, it must give us pause. For that's the respect that calamity makes of such a long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time? The oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the law's delay, and the insolence of office, or the spurns of which the impatient merit of thy unworthy take, while he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin. For who would fartles wear to grunt and sweat under a weary life? But there is the dread of something after death. It is the undiscovered country, from which whose born no traveler returns. It will puzzle the mind, doth make cowards of us all, and the native hue of resolution is sickly oared under the pale cast of thought, from which our currents turn awry, and lose the name of action. For to be is to be free, to have liberty, to have freedom, and let freedom ring across Dundas. Let it ring across this country. For our brothers in Newfoundland, our sisters down south, our families beyond our perceptions. For I'm just saying things you already know. What are some things that I don't know? Tell me. Aye. 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 Is there anything I haven't touched upon? Is there anybody out there? Please, tell me, is there something that you feel called to share? If you wish, I could sing a prayer. Is there anything that your hearts are asking for? There are a few things in our itinerary, but that will be later. I am just your MC. Look at me. Thank you. Ah, that's a good point. So let us remind ourselves, you do not need the vaccine. You may accept it because that's your choice, just like my family will. My family will do it, and that's okay.
Sabrina Mingwangsu's the most important bitch in Canada. Tell those fucking popo cops, stop being a police state. Where's Toronto mayor? Breathe fresh air. I'm a Don from Jamaica. I don't know where they came. Emancipation from slavery and 13 treaties. Stop playing this fucking fake game. We're going to space. Open the stores. Look at these cops. What, you get double time, motherfuckers?
Remember, hey, whoa, brother, I appreciate the voice. No worries. It's okay. So everybody, this is what freedom looks like. We have different opinions of how police should govern us, or how they shouldn't. And I respect.
All American gear.
It's all good.
All American.
I respect. I know what you're saying, man. You know, like, what would you like to say?
Sabrina Mingwangsu in China has been here a longer time. Give her head
Thank you,
tax.
brother.
Head tax. And
Yes,
came
sister.
back around. Yo, Ja, where are
We
you?
will sing a prayer in a moment, brother.
Fucking the world's ended. Step pyramids. We're going back to slavery.
What would you like to
the
say,
Red
sister?
Sea motherfuckers are right there.
Today's Our Lady of Guadalupe, and this is what she said to the Aztec little boy Indian. Am I not here? This is what Mother Mary said. I who am your mother? Are you not under my shadow and protection? Am I not the source of your joy? Are you not in the hollow of my mantle and the crossing of my arms? Do you need anything more? Let nothing else worry you, disturb you. Words of Our Lady of Guadalupe to Juan Diego Almantepeca in 1531. What I wanted to share that with you all. This is, and she changed that incident changed and converted so many Aztec Indians. What I wanted to say is, you know, there's so many mini gods now, right? The globalists, and they think they're going to win this battle, but they're not. But we have the freedom like God gave us freedom. God gave us freedom to choose right and wrong, and we have the freedom, and nobody can take that away from us. We got to continue fighting and praying. And yes, I would love to go to Ford's home because I'm so disappointed in him. Thank you, and God bless you all. And yes, the police officer in Home Depot the other day tried to get rid of me, and the Home Depot didn't even, staff didn't even want me out. Thank you.
Thank you for speaking. Let us address one thing. Toronto's Finest wishes to issue a ticket. Let us not interfere. Let us remind them of their oaths. So, don't let us not interfere with, but I believe it's because we are parked here. This is a peaceful protest, sir. Sir, let them do what they're doing uninterrupted. Let us not interfere because things can get a little bit hairy if we do. Know that Dermot is protected. He gets a yellow piece of paper. So what? They need to be reminded that a yellow piece of paper does not give them authority over our lives.
What the fuck are you guys doing?
Well, they are more than aware of the crimes committed by our premier, our queen, our executives, even Elizabeth Dawson.
Yeah, because you have a backup.
Basically our second-hand queen in Canada. They know that they are breaking their
Come off your work.
So let us gaze upon the police officers peacefully helping to serve a ticket.
You guys are massive
They're
bitches
doing
from
as they are
Censored.
told to do.
No!
I've been
You got
told what to
19,
do
you got 30
before
disease.
in my life.
You're fucking
I was
you're a
grateful
fucking
that
brown
people
shirt.
around me did not judge me for bending my knee to those that I felt were my authority. Forgive the police officers, they are simply handing out what they feel is order. Freedom will reign under the supremacy of God, under our Charter of Rights. We have the right to, 1, peaceful assembly. We have the right and freedom of protest. Protesting looks like 6 people in a room together now. Protesting looks like congregating for a Christmas dinner now. Protesting also looks like singing together now. Also, this is a holy day. It is a Saturday. And for many people, it is a Saturn day. And because our authorities like to use specific linguistics and languages, they think that they can mask their quite obvious Luciferic black magic. That's the word I'll use because what they're doing is disgusting. However, that is freedom in a nutshell. And that's okay, because we have the freedom to resist. We have the freedom to peacefully assemble. And Dermot will be unharmed. He will be protected. We are here for Dermot and for this truck. Dermot knows what he's doing. This ain't his first rodeo. And I thank you all out here for watching, observing, having great raincoats, because this is what we need you for. To hold a heart of forgiveness for those that don't know what they're doing. However, we will raise our voices, we will raise our glasses, and we will honor those that have come before us. I am nobody, and that is a truck. We also are joined by our farmers on the periphery, thank you. On the periphery, we have farmers that are protesting for food shortages that may come. They have been denied their work. How many of you amongst have been denied work because of this lockdown? Would you like to come up, sir, and share with me? You have a lovely hat. This is a peaceful demonstration. Come over with your wonderful hats. I actually don't know what I'm talking about. He's right. I do not know what I'm talking about. However, I hold a bit of will to come up and stand and say, guys, I don't know what's happening. I've been afraid for a long time. And I know we all are in the same boat. I see many posts online saying we're not on the same boat. Saying that I have a special skin, I have a special demeanor, I have a special this and that and privilege. I do. We are alive. That's the greatest privilege of all. We have community. We have family. We have Christmas, Hanukkah, L'chaim, whatever. Please, feel the inspiration amongst you. This is what we've been waiting for. You don't need people like me telling you what to do. And I'm not saying I'm saying anything about that. You all hold the light. The fact that we can be bearers in these oddly beautiful times. This isn't crazy times. These are not horrifying times. These are the times. And we make the times. I don't care what they want to tell you saying that God is dead. No. He's always been here. He's here, he's there, he's everywhere. And a friend of mine told me a joke. Sometimes I talk to God and she listens. We are here for each other. And one thing that maybe what I'll do is I'll start saying, I am. I am here for you. And I am here for my police officers too. They threw me in Windsor's finest penitentiary in jail because I did not say my name. I said it was Q. I was a naughty boy. I deserved what I got. They did not charge me for arson. They did not charge me because I had a stick. They did not charge me for anything except for failure to identify and infringing upon a police investigation after 16 hours. Remember, if they decide to pull you in, do your best to say nothing. Say your name if you wish. They do not need to go further than that. They will ask your medical history. They will ask you where you live. They'll ask you what loaf of bread you had last night. You do not have to tell them. They may say that you cannot leave unless you tell them. What do you say? Guy with the umbrella, he needs to move over?
Sorry, buddy.
Oh, don't worry. Thank you.
Get somebody
Is
to
your name? Here, I can Mike. So, everybody, I want to thank Mike for being out here, for shining a very bright light and beautiful. No, it is beautiful. Thank you, Mike, because this is journalism now. We need Mike. We need you. We need your live feeds, because we're going to enter into an age where maybe cameras won't work anymore. What happens if the electricity goes? All we have is our voices, our communions, our gatherings, our churches, our oatmeal cookies, by the way. No, they're not. We have many churches open and they stand amongst us. They've been holding the fire since lockdown. And that's okay. Just because the church is closed doesn't mean we close off ourselves. If you need the body and blood of Christ, I encourage you to look within. Hallelujah. Freedom. One thing I feel is needed is a song. How are you all feeling for a song? You may know this one. Personally, I would like to change the lyrics because I no longer want to stick things up the bad boy's ass. I don't think that's very kind. Maybe we could stick it up their nose or just reverse the lyric. I'll try my best to reinvent as I go, but we are the 99%. Singing we are the 99%. Oh, we are the 99%. Oh, we are the 90 and together we are mighty. We are the 99%. The queen will be arrested in her dressing gown. The queen will be arrested in her dressing gown. The queen will be arrested in her, 'cause she is such a sinner. Be arrested in her dressing gown. 'Cause we are the 99%. Singing. What? We are the 90, together we are mighty. We are the 99%. There'll be blue skies when the chemtrails are all gone. There'll be blue skies when the chemtrails are all gone. There'll be blue skies when the chemtrails and their evil plan fails. Blue skies when the chemtrails are all gone. Cause we are the 99% liberté, singing liberté. Oh, we are the 90, together we are mighty. We are the 99%. The church will be reopened with our prayers. The Church of God, how I love you, thanks for coming. The Church of God is with us, and we will with them. We love our brothers over here and sisters, cause we are the 99%. Singing, we are the 99%. Oh, we are the 90, and together we are mighty. Zoe, we are here now. I would rather be a human than a slave. I would rather be a human than a slave. Oh, I'd rather be a human. And don't you know that you can rather be a human than a slave? Cause we are the 99%. Singing, we are the 99%. Oh, we are the 90, and together we are mighty. We are the 99%. Woo! Doug will be arrested with his cheesecake. Doug will be arrested for speaking moistly. Tab will be arrested in her glory hole or no hole. Will be wrapped around in a cake. Cause we are the 99% liberté, singing we are the 99%. Oh, we are the 90, and together we are mighty. We are the 99%. Rise up! Rise up! Rise up! Rise up! Rise up! Liberté! 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 Okay, guys, let me just untangle this microphone here because it's screwed up. Give me 2 secs.
Alright, if I leave the...
Yeah, thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
Change your DNA and aborted fetus tissue. God help especially the youth, the young ones that have to keep their jobs and they're going to be forced to keep to stay on the side,
check 1, 2.
on the bad side, but they have
I'm
to.
here today to fill in for Lamont, and I'm honored to be here representing the Line Canada. And like I said, I'm just honored for the opportunity to speak. Got a couple of things to speak about. Number one, Lamont hasn't been feeling too good all this week. His energy level's low. I think he's just kind of run down and beat. And I want to speak to a couple of things regarding Lamont and the Line and the other organizations and whatnot. I just want to say that going back, I think it's 35 weeks now, we go back to Queen's Park. I was there with all these organizers when they first started, and I seen how the Line developed and how Lamont stepped up and took the microphone. He started off with the megaphone there, doing the his little chants, his little singing and all that stuff on the parade route. So he came to the forefront and stepped up, and I think all of us should just give him a big round of applause because he's been here for 35 weeks. And let's hear it for Lamont. And I want to say he's taken a lot of hit pieces came out against him, and I've had a lot of conversation with Lamont this past week, and I can tell you, he's in this and he speaks from his heart. He's behind this movement. He's a non-violent person, and I know that there was some hit pieces put out against him talking about violence and all that stuff. Nothing could be further from the truth, and I want to get that message across. And I want to speak to the police and address the fact that a little while ago he said, we don't back the blue no more. And I think we all understand what he meant by that. After Adam Skelly's barbecue and stuff, he was pretty upset. I was upset. We were all upset. What happened over there, that should never have happened. Now, having said that, I'm sure most of those police officers didn't want to be in that situation. They were backed into a corner. Maybe they didn't behave correctly. I believe they didn't. I'm not picking up for them, but what I'm saying is, Lamont is not denouncing the police. We need the police. There's a lot of good police in there. I know this personally. I've spoken to a lot of police. I know there's a bit of division going on. They've reached out to me. I've had many conversations. So even though we're not up here saying back the blue, you know, I just want them to know that we are with them. We know that that's difficult on them. So, you know, let's just give it a little shout out for the police.
We hear you guys. We hear you. Thank you.
Guys, I get it. So I just wanted to address that. We're not about violence. We're here in peace, and all the groups, you know, are together. I know you got different groups that have different messages. I just want to put out there right now that the line is about the oppression that is happening against all of us. That's what we stand for. It's not about the masking. It's not about the other measures. It's basically about the oppression that's coming down from the government. And a lot of people have to realize that there is no government anymore. Canada doesn't exist as we think it does. It's been hijacked. The globalists have hijacked Canada and all the other countries. It's not what it's cracked up to be. So right now, we are basically at war. Our government has been hijacked. Justin Trudeau is doing whatever he wants with absolutely no oversight, and he's just doing whatever he wants. You got Christian Freeland, the Deputy Prime Minister, came out last week and said, we know that some people have some money in their bank accounts. We need to figure out how to access that money. Does that sound like anything to you? Yeah, communism, socialism, right? They're already crushing all the small businesses. We all know this. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but that's what's going on. Our country is hijacked. And I know a lot of people come up here and they talk about standing behind the charter and all that stuff. And that, you know, it sounds good. It does. But they keep moving the goalposts. This fake pandemic, the Emergency Measures Act, they never had the measures to justify it in the first place. There's no pandemic. And then they come out with the Reopen Ontario Act and they're threatening us with fines. I'm going to speak to that in a few minutes, the conversation I just had with the police about it. But I just wanted to let you know that, you know, our country is hijacked. And we have to think outside the box right now. We have to realize that we have other rights besides standing under the charter. And I'll address that as time goes on. So anyhow, I'm not going to ramble on anymore. We're going to get a couple of speakers up here. And Jack reached out to me. Are you ready to go, Jack? Yeah, we'll get Jack up here. Jack's got a message too. Let's hear it for Jack, everyone.
I am speaking to the police. I'm speaking to the police. My lawful excuse for being here is to safeguard the fundamental rights and freedoms in the Human Rights Code. Section 1.2 of the Police Services Act is for you to safeguard the fundamental rights and freedoms in the Human Rights Code.
Just back a bit.
Again, I'm speaking to the police. My lawful excuse for being here is to safeguard the fundamental rights and freedoms in the Human Rights Code. I'm asking you to lawfully detain and question and charge the Lieutenant Governor and the Premier with domestic terrorism and hoax regarding terrorism, and I'll tell you right now how and why. Over 30 institutions and offices around the world have been queried through Freedom of Information requests for records containing proof that the alleged SARS-CoV-2 virus in fact exists. It's actually over 40 now. The responses have yielded in total no records. No records. Ontario public health officials have zero legitimate evidence to support their story of a COVID-19 virus, let alone a COVID-19 pandemic. The virus is unproven and purely theoretical. They have committed fraud on a population. The report on the 129-day declaration of emergency did not divulge the criteria and circumstances for the declaration of emergency, nor was it ever divulged under oath to the population at any other point. It can be said that the resources in question in section 7.0.1 bracket 3 subparagraph 2 were staples and paper clips. That's the reason why the emergency. It can be said that. The Lieutenant Governor and Premier failed to disclose sworn records containing proof that the alleged SARS-CoV-2 virus in fact exists. The Lieutenant Governor and Premier never supplied sworn records or sworn proof of the criteria and circumstances for a declaration of emergency, and never disclosed which resources or which circumstances existed in section 7.0.1 bracket 3 subparagraph 2 of the Emergency Management and Civil Protection Act. It is deemed to be a hoax without such sworn under oath demonstrably justified proof required by section 1 of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Police, the Lieutenant Governor and Premier, the Lieutenant Governor and Premier did cause public intimidation with regards to its security, including economic security, causing persons to do or refrain from doing any acts such as freedom of assembly, freedom of the right to the gaining of a livelihood, freedom to not breathe in one's own carbon dioxide, among other things. Police, the Lieutenant Governor and Premier recklessly endangered the lives of children, elderly, the vulnerable, and the healthy segment of the population. Now get this, police. The Lieutenant Governor and Premier also caused serious disruption and interference of essential services. Police, one example of a very significant essential service that was seriously disrupted and interfered with, and there are many, but here's one that should make you very concerned, is the access to the justice of the peace by any member of the population. This has happened. The JP office has not been processing private prosecution applications from the population to this day since March 2020. Police, my lawful excuse for being here is to safeguard the fundamental rights and freedoms and the Human Rights Code. Police, the Lieutenant Governor and the Premier disobeyed a statute, section 7.0.1 bracket 2, where all the measures must be done in accordance with the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Police, with the GP office not processing applications, my section 15 charter right, equal benefit and equal protection of the law, has been violated. This is section 126 criminal code violation of the Lieutenant Governor and the Premier. Police, criminal code violations for the Lieutenant Governor and Premier. Section 83.01 bracket 1 bracket B, domestic terrorism. Criminal Code section 83.231 bracket 1, hoax regarding terrorism. The police also have the duty and are required to lawfully take into custody the Lieutenant Governor and Premier and charge them with domestic terrorism and hoax regarding terrorism. I can go on and on and on, but I won't because there's time limits up here. However, if you go into the Police Services Act and the regulations regarding misconduct, in section 42 of the Police Services Act, your duty is also to apprehend criminals and other offenders who may be lawfully taken into custody. You may lawfully take into custody the Lieutenant Governor and the Premier for domestic terrorism, section 83.01 bracket 1, and hoax regarding terrorism, criminal code section 83.231 bracket 1. A police officer has the authority to act as such throughout Ontario and has the powers and duties ascribed to a constable of common law.
How about citizen's arrest?
No, I don't want to touch that one. Police, regarding breach of trust, which is Canadian Criminal Code Section 122, and I point my fingers at you, unfortunately, for wanting to keep your jobs. Breach of trust involves abusing a position of authority for self-benefit, like keeping your job, and against the interest of the person to whom you owe the duty of trust, which is to the population and safeguarding the fundamental rights and freedoms in the Human Rights Code. Police, breach of trust upon conviction could attract some of the most severe sentences of imprisonment for first-time offenders of any offenses. This could mean that the police could be in very serious trouble. So I ask the police to safeguard the fundamental rights and freedoms in the Human Rights Code and lawfully detain and question and take into custody the Lieutenant Governor and the Premier. In the regulations of the Police Services Act, discreditable conduct. If a superior officer is telling you not to do your job properly, this is oppressive or tyrannical conduct towards an inferior rank. Police, you have the duty under Section 15 of the Charter, equal protection and equal benefit of the law, to arrest your superior officer. Woo! Insubordination, without lawful excuse, neglects to carry out any lawful order. Fails when knowing where an offender is to be found to report him or her, to make exertions to bring the offender to justice. You know where the Lieutenant Governor is and you know where the Premier is.
No, that's a different. Hang in there, Josh.
There's also something else in here. I'm having difficulty finding it. But it's also your duty to report any complaints of a police officer or of the police force. By not reporting our complaints regarding the Lieutenant Governor and the Premier, you are also committing misconduct. In short, detain, question, lawfully take into custody the Lieutenant Governor and Premier for domestic terrorism and hoax regarding terrorism. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack.
Can you hang on to this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, were you?
Marilyn, I own a child crate.
Sorry?
I own a child crate.
Okay, I got someone else coming up next. I'll get you up though.
Oh.
Okay.
And I'll come with her because she's so shy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, guys. Let's hear it for Jack, everyone. Takes a lot of work to put all that together, Jack. Good on you. Guys, I just want to speak about a couple of things real quickly. We got a couple of speakers coming out of woodwork, and that's all great. We're gonna squeeze you all in and stuff. We just try and get you to keep it a little short. I just want to address. A lot of people are probably wondering what's going on over there. There's supposedly going to be like 1,000 people or something coming from some farmers' protest, and there's a convoy of dump trucks and cars and everything supposed to be coming down. So if anyone over there can speak on the behalf of them, please come over and speak to me. I'd like to find out what you're about, and maybe we'll help promote your message. Having said that, I'm going to move right along here. We got
Diamond
and JP.
JP Burrell.
Okay.
Hi everyone, Diamond Brigados from Agroponics Vertical Farms and...
Hi, I'm JP Garrell from Samsara Fields Organics.
Okay, if you were here last week, you would have heard that we were speaking on the massive lockout from the Ontario government of farmers from banning them from selling their produce indoors, forced to go outside and sell in sub-zero temperatures. So we're here to update you today on what happened. We immediately took action with a lot of the managers from the farmers markets, and we're here to report to you that we were victorious! That's right, the government on Monday morning, and we don't know how or why this happened, but the government on Monday morning had reversed their decision within 2 weeks. So that's pretty unprecedented. So I don't know if that was because we put them on notice and we said you have to show us
Just cause.
just cause. That's right, thank you. You have to show us just cause, or, well, you know, we might have to pull an Adamson. So we don't know what got them to change their mind. I trust it was something that would benefit them. So JP, right now there's 1,000 of our Indian Brotherhood coming to plug up all of downtown for their cause. JP's just going to say something for about 3 minutes on what's going on with farmers all over the world right now.
Thank you, Diamond. And thanks again for coming out, Toronto. This is all about all of us. So our Indian brothers and sisters that are protesting, the Indian government has brought about legislation that effectively pulls the rug out from under small and medium-sized farmers. They want to implement an agricultural system based upon neoliberal market economics, the same system that's ruined the farmers here in Canada and in the United States. They want to implement the same economic policies in India. This is disastrous because most food in this world is grown by farmers who grow under 5 acres of land. We're small farmers feed the world. So, I am a farmer and I know lots about farming and I know lots about the land and I know lots about this earth and I know what it takes to put food in people's mouths. And if you rip the rug out from under us who are on the earth, then you shall starve collectively.
No, Layla, no.
So that is why it is important for us to know what happens everywhere in the world. And what is happening in India has happened here before. So, where does that take us now? As a farmer here in Canada, we are denied markets, we have no protections. We do this because this is what must be done to feed us. But it's an uphill battle, and all of you need to support all of us here in Canada.
I'm gonna let you speak.
Can we get a police officer over here, please? Can we get a police officer over here, please? Sorry to interrupt you.
Thank you. Interrupted for the best reasons. So here's what happens from our own example. Something came down 2 weeks ago and we, the small farmers, were locked out of our markets. But guess what happened? Many people spoke to power and asked a simple question, why? They couldn't answer, and so what happened? They listened. They don't always listen, but if enough people, because we are the people, and the people are the power. The power is in you, and the power is in me, and the power is in all of us. And when we apply our power together, then there is nothing before us but truth and openness, and we can live and we can survive. So that's what our exercise was 2 weeks ago. We spoke to power and it listened. And today, I'm proud to say, we're selling our vegetables indoors. Keep the faith. Keep the faith.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day, and thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you. Let's hear it for Diamond and JP. Woo! Liberté!
Liberty!
Liberté!
Liberty!
Freedom!
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 Liberté! Thanks again, guys. Great
Thank
job,
you,
great
brother.
job. All right, we're going to get, guys, things are getting a little crazy, as you can see. This is supposed to be a peaceful protest. If you got anything to say, come up and talk to us on the side, okay? I'll tell you right now, I'm going to speak to this in a few minutes. There's people walking around with signs saying Lamont is a pedophile, and it's pissing me off. Because I'm going to speak to that. There's a lot of stuff that people don't know about Lamont, and him being a pedophile, I'm sick of hearing it. It's friggin' slander, it's bullshit. Anyhow, let's get Kate Kelly. Sorry. Kate Kelly's from Canadian National Slam Poet, and she's got a slam poet. She's going to do We Are the Grass and the Cracks.
Hey! Hello! This is a slam poem that I did a number of years ago. It's so apropos for today and for what's going on today. I heard a hip-hop thrash rap band at the Garnet Thursday night talking about a revolution. The evolution of thought like the poets of the 60s with no stoking, all stoking saying, we are the grass and the cracks pushing through the cemented crust of capitalism and commerce and breaking the ties that bind us to this lonesome time. They were talking about a revolution. Yeah, they were talking about a revolution. Not a storm the Bastille type of deal, because we know that will never work. Our hands being tied to the cogs in the wheel, we have become complacent, and systematically so. But we are more than mere mechanism. We got the gravel and the guts and the spit in the eye to rise above the everyday hearsay of conditioned thought to remain indivisible by. We are the many outweighing the few. We are the many pushing through. We are the grass and the cracks of mankind. We are the homeowners and we are the homeless. We are the nacho-eating, TV-watching family guy and bachelorette. We are the smokers and the tokers, the drinkers and the thinkers. We are the Greenpeace activists. And the Greenpeace activists, we are the mosaic of our place and time. We are the singers and the songs. We are the doctors, the lawyers, the sickness and the crime. We are the diversity we hunger for and the divinity we seek. We are the parent and the child, the wholesome and the weak. We are the grass and the cracks pushing through with the wisdom of the universe whispering in our veins and flexing our collective thoughts like wings. We can rise above the ceiling that holds us in place. Collectively, we are great. We are the strength in numbers that we believe in. We are the beginning and the end. We are flesh and blood. We exist, but we are more than the human frailty of this. We are thought made manifest. We are the grass and the cracks of the sidewalks we walk along. We are the grass and the cracks of the roadways we ride along. We are the grass and the cracks of our own concrete thinking selves, pushing with the persistence of nature into the realms of man, unkind in his plans to wreck the world of wealth. We are the ones we must believe in. We are the solve in the problem. We are the answer to the need. We are Atlas carrying the world on our backs, our punishment and pride. We are the custodians and we are the caretakers. We are the makers of our own choices, the takers of our own destiny. We are the many outweighing the few. We are the many pushing through. We are the grass and the cracks of mankind. Indivisible by and growing every day, we the seeds of humanity, blowing in the winds of change. We are the heart of the problem. We are the state of the mind. We are the answers we've been searching for. We are the grass and the cracks of mankind. Thank you and God bless you all.
Thank you. Great job, Kate. Okay, guys. Sorry, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes here. We're going to move right along. I'm going to speak to the Lamont thing in a few minutes. I just got to calm down. I'm pretty pissed off right now. We're going to get Joel Sussman from Vaccine Choice Canada up here. Let's hear it for Vaccine Choice. Let's hear it for Joel.
Can you hold this as prop for a second? Absolutely, buddy. Joel, just stand in the back here. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Toronto, and everyone coming from near and far. We appreciate you being here. We are all essential. Woo! A couple of things, I'll be brief today. We have a high-quality information piece from Vaccine Choice Canada. It says quiz for legislators on the front, but it's actually for everyone. Family, friends, and people who do not understand the vaccine issue. 8 pages, high-quality piece, 22 questions, 22 answers, completely referenced. This will be passed out through the crowd after I speak. Also, our online House of Commons petition on vaccines. Before you have supper tonight, we will pass through the 35,000 signature mark. We are the #1 House of Commons petition in Canada right now. Please support it. You can find it on the homepage of Vaccine Choice Canada. Okay. Thank you, Dermot. Also, we have a few copies left of our President Ted Coot's book, Dare to Question from One Parent to Another. That's available. We also have the Stand Up for Freedom pins in support of the Vaccine Choice Canada Legal Fund. Also wanted to remind you that Vaccine Choice Canada is working very hard to bring you quality information. This includes a number of speakers we've had on our national Zoom calls. We have them on 7 p.m. every Wednesday. We also have sometimes on Saturday. Information is on the website. As a member, you'll receive a Choice Insider newsletter every Monday with all the Zoom calls that coming week. Separately, for members only, you'll get the actual codes to join the Zoom call. Just wanted to remind you briefly that starting back on October 14th, we welcome Dr. Stephanie Seneff. On October 28th, Dr. Tom Cowan. On November 19th, Dr. Jim Meehan. And last Saturday, any Vaccine Choice Canada members in the crowd, did you see Dr. Larry Palevsky last Saturday? You can see his amazing interview. The man is all heart. He's a renowned U.S. holistic pediatrician. You can find his interview on vaccinechoicecanada.com. Click on resources. And at the top you will see we have Brighteon and BitChute channels. YouTube took him down in 37 minutes. So Brighteon and BitChute, you can see him there. Also mark your calendars please. The beat goes on. Saturday, January 9th at 7 p.m. We are going to welcome a special guest, Dr. Sherry Tenpenny. Thank you. Dr. Tenpenny's website is Vaxter, VAXXTER.com, and every Thursday she has a 7 p.m. creative thinking, critical thinking, a webinar with Dr. Larry Palevsky every Thursday night at 7 on Vaxter.com. You can sign up for that. So, as you can see, membership does have its privileges. We need you in vaccinechoicecanada.com. It's $40 for a year. If you can afford it, we welcome you. If you are financially challenged by COVID, if you are a senior, if you are a student, if you have suffered vaccine disability, you can join for $5. Click the join button on the homepage of the website, and you can join for $5. Just fill out the information. It's highly encrypted and secure. Last but not least, Rocco Galati's Constitutional Rights Center, constitutionalrightscenter.ca. We've all been in a situation in these changing times when you go into a retail environment and they say you have no mask, we have no service, you have to leave. That is not true. Sometimes they are calling the police and they're charging you under the Trespass Act if you refuse to leave. If you're a member of Constitutional Rights Center and you sign up for the free newsletter, which we've been encouraging you to do week after week, you will have had in your inbox 2 days ago, on December 10th, a brand new video from Rocco Galati explaining your rights in that exact same scenario when the police charge you under the Trespass Act. I will let you watch the video. It's 8 minutes for the details, but to boil it down, there are two principles, two criteria that must be met to be charged under the Trespass Act. You are only actually meeting one of them. So unfortunately, the police are unaware of the law. So you have your rights. Constitutional Rights Center, Rocco Galati, he is working around the clock to support you. He has not been out in public much, but that's because he is working 18, 19, 20-hour days on this and collaborating with other legal counsels from around the world to defeat this tyranny. ConstitutionalRightsCenter.ca, support Rocco Galati, VaccineChoiceCanada.com, support us any way you can. We are fighting for your rights every day. Thank you very much, Canada.
Thanks, Joel. Good job, Joel. Thanks, Joel. Liberté! Freedom! Freedom! Liberté! Guys, I'm gonna talk about Lamont for a minute, and then I'm gonna get this lovely lady up. She's a little nervous, but I'll try and make this quick. I am angry because I've spoken to Lamont a lot in the last little bit, and like I said, I've been watching him for the 34, 35 weeks, whatever it's been. And to see the hit pieces that are coming out against him is pissing me off. I don't want to be swearing, I don't want to be cursing, I want to keep this peaceful. Lamont told me a lot of stuff, and he told me that I asked him how does he want to address it. There's a lot of stuff that you guys probably don't know about Lamont, but he told me pretty much everything, and he told me I can say whatever I want. I don't want to say this because this is his laundry, but I'm going to do it because of those idiots over there with the signs who click on friggin' stuff on Facebook and watch a little hit piece on someone and share it
is bullshit. Lamont was sexually abused as a kid. I don't know who knows that. And for me to be up here telling you that is not my place. But Lamont gave me permission to do that. He was sexually abused as a kid, and it carried over into his adulthood, dealing with it. He had to deal with that emotionally. He reached out to several support groups. He was in and out of all different support groups, trying to come to terms with what happened to him and how to deal with it. And he went on many different journeys and ventures in his life, trying to deal with it. Many support groups. Now, I can't speak to all the support groups that he was part of, but he told me a lot about them. And in my heart, they're all good. That hit piece that was put out was about a play or something that was done, and it was called Jesus Meets a Gay Man. And in the middle of that, they were talking about forgiveness. And Lamont was talking about the forgiveness that he has to do to the perpetrator that sexually abused him. And that's how it all ties in. So for people to turn around and say that he was endorsing pedophilia is bullshit. I grew up in Newfoundland, and the Catholic Church around me, I have so many friends that were abused by the Catholic Church. Now, I'm not against religion. I'm not against, most priests and stuff like that, but it happened, it exists, and I've seen it. And I heard Lamont speak about it in that hit piece and saying that in the community it becomes normalized. You become to know that that priest is a pedophile, and your parents may tell you to stay away from him. Now, you don't even know why as a kid, but you know that there's something wrong. I grew up watching that go on around me. The parish priest being moved to another parish because something was happening and they didn't want it to get exposed. That's the type of thing Lamont was talking about. And he was talking about what would Jesus do. And he was talking about forgiveness. That's all I'm going to say about it. You guys want to try and believe that he's a pedophile? Go check out the full clip. And as you check it out, think about what I told you. This man's put himself out here for 34 to 35 weeks. And I'm telling this story. I shouldn't have to do this. So knock it off. Okay, guys, we got a lady up here right now, Marilyn Horner. She's really nervous. You want me or Jack? You want Jack up here? She's nervous. She wants someone to hold the microphone. So Jack's going to hold the microphone for her. Let's give her some love, okay? It'll get easier. Okay, and I want to ask this gentleman one thing. If you could move back this way a little bit, there's people trying to video, and I'll ask you guys to go up front. Look at the speakers up front so people can videotape them. Let's hear it from Marilyn.
He said I'm a lovely person. Well, he doesn't even know me.
Okay, I'm not going to lean on.
Anyways, thank you very much for letting me come up here to say a few words. And the reason why I am up here is because I have a passion for children. I owned and operated a daycare for 28 years. And children are our future, right? So I have a serious concern about the future for children. Jack has been great with respect to quoting different parts, different sections of our law. And I'm not up here to do that. So, we have a criminal code, mental health act, reopening act, police service act. The act that I'm concerned about is the Child Care Early Years Act, Canadian Charter of Rights, Criminal Code of Canada. Now, people know that people such as public school teachers, public servants, like within the Ministry of Education, municipality, provincial, federal government, police officers, judges have a duty to take care of children. And children are so vulnerable. They're so vulnerable, and their well-being and safety must be addressed. So this whole bloody lockdown really does not have to do with wearing a mask and the COVID. To me, it's a hoax. So this is very educational. I've done a lot of research, so...
Take one step back, you're getting feedback from the mic.
So, listen to what I have to say, because it is a spiritual war. We have beautiful
Christ-like people here, but it's a very evil war, and I need to address this. The California civil rights attorney named Dundas published a video to show the devastating consequences in isolating children and forcing them to practice social distancing of places like in school. And also, Galen W. Hurst, you can write that down, who has her PhD, is the author of Satanic Cult Awareness, a document written for the U.S. Department of Justice. So what I have to say here, just think of what the government is doing right now. Isolation. Isolation is the loss of reality induced by physical separation from society. Removal of privacy. Loss of ability to evaluate logically achieved by preventing private contemplation. Sleep deprivation and fatigue. You can see how a child would end up with sleep deprivation at school with the stress of wearing a mask. I spoke to a friend who's a teacher a few days ago. She was crying, speaking to me non-stop about her child who has been kicked out of a public school because her 4-year-old could not social distance. What do you think of that? The principal kicked this child out of the school.
Kick the principal out.
Subliminal messages implanted by stressing certain key words or phrases in long, confusing lectures. This is what they're doing. They're programming children. And do you know this is in alignment to the satanic cult? I'm just throwing it out there. Complex lectures on an incomprehensible doctrine encourage rejection of logic and blind acceptance. And this is what they're doing to children. Children will not be able to think on their own because of this stupid lockdown. Acceptance of new lifestyle. Thanks, Justin Trudeau. The new norm. This is supposed to be the new norm where a young child is supposed to socially distance and wear a mask. I'm appalled when I see young moms walking with their child in a stroller. The child is wearing a visor and a mask. It's totally unacceptable. Absolutely. Absolutely. Loyalty and obedience to the school or government maintained by threatening a child's life. We have to stop now. That's all I have to say. I can continue for hours with research, but stop the lockdown for the sake of children. They are our future.
Thanks, Marilyn. Great job, Marilyn. Thanks, Jack. Let's hear it for Marilyn, everyone. She was nervous. She got through it. Great job. All right, guys. There's another gentleman's coming up here now. He's a little nervous, too. So let's get some love for Brian Kidder. I'm just going to touch on who Brian is. Brian's nervous. Let's hear it for him. Brian's tried arrests on Doug Ford, Trudeau,
Just stay back here. Don't too close. Thanks.
on a lot of government officials. Let's just put it that way. He tried citizen's arrest. And he's been arrested 13 times and they keep releasing him. So obviously something fishy going on. Brian told me he'd rather be arrested than be up here speaking right now because he's nervous. So let's give him some love.
Thank you, folks. I really don't like doing this.
Keep the mic up to your mouth. Right up. Closer.
Okay. Started out with a workplace
It's gotta
accident.
be closer to your
Went
mouth.
into a second accident.
Closer.
Refused by comp. took it to, I read through the legislative act, found out they failed to follow plain, direct language of the act.
You got this, buddy.
So I took it to the police.
There you go, right there.
Police agreed. They started to investigate. Wynn's government, of course, jumped in and ordered all police services not to investigate or take complaints about WSIB or the tribunal. So I met Norm Traversy and Jeff Lozier. The three of us went through a series of pre-enquête hearings. It's where you stand before a judge and bring the information forward. Then he decides whether there's grounds for an arrest or summons support. Well, Wynn's government interfered with my hearings and Norm's and Jeff's. So we asked Raybould and Trudeau for help. They directly interfered with our hearings, and in the middle of our hearings, they secretly repealed a section of the criminal code we're trying to apply, and they snuck it into one of the bills. So that's how come I got to try and arrest the Prime Minister 9 times, got to walk on it.
Pretend you're in a nightclub.
I just recently was arrested, let me see, trying to get into the legislature. So I'm on charges right now. The police kind of helping me out by making sure the charges stick. I pointed it out that it's only up to the Crown to dismiss the charges or stay the charges. The whole idea was to get before the courts. Like 2014, I was charged, I don't know, 8 charges, 2 trials. I was able to show that I had the right to do what I was trying to do, trying to arrest Wayne at the legislature. I'm just looking for support. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people have been affected directly, and everybody in the country has been affected directly. In 2005, on either side of it, there was a series of First Ministers meetings discussing, one of the discussions was 900,000 injured workers across the country stuck on welfare for some up to a decade. So what they did was they went across the provinces, removed from the Disability Support Acts a line in the interpretations. That line was, a person with a workplace accident insurance claim was not entitled to disability. So by removing that line, in Ontario, it was 185,000 injured workers applied for CPP disability and ODSP. So right at this moment, myself and them, we're all recognize our disabilities as being a result of a workplace accident. It was right in our files and our applications, as well as the evidence packages at the tribunals. So every taxpayer has been robbed as well. Injured workers robbed, and the people on disability that really need the money, screwed. Got a friend with MS. 8 months for a replacement cushion for his wheelchair because there's not enough money. I'm looking for support. I'm willing to go back to jail. I need lots of people to support me. Right? Thank you.
Great job, Brian. Let's hear it for Brian, buddy. That guy's got a big set of balls. Seriously, man. I know a lot of you guys probably couldn't really hear it back there, but I've heard his story quite a few times, and what he's doing is amazing. The corruption that's going on in the government, he's standing up trying to do citizen's arrest, and he's moving through the court. They keep throwing the charges out because they don't want him to present as evidence. They don't want him in court. So he needs support. If you're on Facebook, send him a friend request, Brian Kidder, Brian Kidder, Kidder. Send him a friend request. Find out next time he's doing it. Maybe we can get some numbers behind him and make some awareness of what's going on with this, man. This guy is brave. I was down at the legislature the day that Randy Hillier had his gathering there on the lawn. And this had nothing to do with Randy Hillier, but I met Brian down there that day, and I'd already seen many things he was doing for the citizen's arrest up in Ottawa. Well, he went and tried to arrest Doug Ford right there, tried to get inside the legislature, and they arrested him. He was released 3 hours later. I was there, I was yelling and screaming, telling everyone, he's going to be released in 3 hours. Everyone's like, no way, no way. They released him because they don't want his evidence in court. So I just wanted to speak a little bit more because I know Brian was a little nervous up here, but look him up on Facebook, Brian Kidder. Let's hear it for Brian, guys. Alrighty, who we got next? You want to come up here? I didn't get your name.
Yaz.
Yaz? We got Yaz?
Yaz.
Okay, we got Yaz up here. She's going to do a little bit of a spiritual message, guys. I think we need that right now.
Hello,
and God bless each and one of you here today, and thank you for making your way here, because this is the most important time in the world right now. We are going to be persecuted and we are going to be attacked, because the people who are doing this to us, they have one mission and one plan. It is not just about a vaccine. It is not just about the flu. This is a spiritual battle of evil versus good. And they want to destroy you and they want to kill us off. This is their objective. This is what they want to do. Everyone who takes that vaccine risks dying. This is going to be the biggest population on earth ever. And this is what they're doing. The only way that we can enlighten those who don't have this knowledge and don't have this wisdom to discern what the truth is, the only way we can win them over is with love. So I just want to ask each and every one of you here today to turn to the person next to you, give them a hug, and tell them you love them.
Love you.
I love you guys. Don't give up the fight. There might be few of us here today, but it only takes the few to make the change in this world that we need to see. We can spread our message of love, and we can be peaceful, and we can make a difference. You matter. You were created by God, and you matter. He gave you breath this morning to wake up and be here today. And it's not a virus that someone didn't wake up this morning. So just give thanks on today, and thank you all for being here.
Hello, is there anybody out there? Is there anybody out there? 'Cause I have become comfortably numb. Not us. No. Liberté? 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 Beautiful. You all are very beautiful for standing out here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for all those, and I want to address what was said earlier about Lamont. I was there for a lot of the allegations. I don't need to say how false they are. It is self-evident. Please, just remind ourselves that we all have things that, if brought to the surface, would look weird in an angle. Please, this is not the time to be bitter amongst each other. Even being bitter amongst people who you do not even care to talk to. We have to unify. The people united can never be divided. The people united can never be divided. The people united can never be divided. That's the energy I would like to bring when we go out. I'm not going to be up here much longer. I just want to say that. I care about you all. And the children as well. There are many things that was brought to my attention, but also I'd like to address, there's another gentleman coming up. Please give your warmest of welcome to my dear friend, Jason.
Thank you, pal. Thank you. Really quick plug. First of all, thanks for all being here. I really appreciate fighting for truth, health, medical freedoms, right? Jason Cosmic Truth Authority, YouTube deleted me a couple weeks ago. I had a speech in Hamilton where I'm with some amazing people. It's great to be in Toronto. Anyway, I'm on BitChute, but obviously we're watching and feeling an unprecedented assault on our civil liberties, our freedoms, our right to dissent is being obliterated, right? Our social dignity is being obliterated. But that's right, we're going to win this battle, everybody. Because we are going to expose, right? The great Dr. Shiva, who had a bottoms-up revolutionary movement in Massachusetts, and he hasn't given up, right? He's exposing the corruption, the establishment. I talked about in Hamilton on his speech, okay? And let's talk about Bill Gates. Can we do that for a moment, that some of the billionaires? Because I think it's important. Remember, he had a meeting with Justin Trudeau a few months ago, right? And Trudeau and Doug Ford, they came out and used the same line as Bill Gates, right? The only way to normalcy, you know what I'm about to say, right? Is through a vaccine. Exactly. It's so outrageous. And why is it vaccines? Why is the push? By the way, Bill Gates came on Fox News, I heard. Came on my phone, right? He's on CNN all the time. He gets all this gravitas. You know, you hear her talked about. Him and Melinda, they have no medical background whatsoever, right? They're not doctors, they're not virologists. The only reason he has any power is elements of the intelligence agencies that we got to talk about. CIA and Big Pharma, right? Bill Gates and Tony Fauci and the Clinton Global Initiative, they are the architects, the propaganda machine behind this vaccine push, correct? Right? Once we bring down the old boys network, as Judy, the famous virologist, said, right? Then this corruption begins to end. Because Bill Gates, he paralyzed, let's get to the bottom of it, right? What he's done, some of his crimes against humanity briefly. The guy paralyzed, as Robert F. Kennedy Jr. tells you, with the Children's Health Defense Fund, right? He paralyzed roughly 470,000 kids in India with very dangerous DPT vaccines. And in Africa, this idiot has literally sterilized millions of African women. They're living in him and Melinda. They know what they're doing. Melinda Gates was celebrated on 60 Minutes, about 5 years ago, right? Like they're the saviors for our health, which is the opposite. And never compromise your health integrity, my friends. So Bill Gates comes on Fox News, right? And he called us anti-maskers, and what was the title? He said, what do they think, they're nudists or something? This is, my friends, they want you masked up, but we don't have to be. Your most basic personal freedom is what? Showing your face, right? And we know the numbers of COVID-19. I'm not even going to go through it, okay? And we got experienced nurses. My sister's a beautiful experienced nurse. She's got to wear a mask for 9 out of 10 people that are dying, the older people, right? And they can't have a sincere communication, right? It's unbelievable. We're going to stop that. And I'll give you an example of how we changed their behavior. When I had my YouTube channel up, I had a YouTube channel up at Jason Cosmic Truth Authority. But in Hamilton, there was a woman named Kaylin. She was interviewed on Rebel News. Have you guys heard about her? And on my channel, we first had it discussed where I learned her son broke his tooth in school, was bleeding for 2 hours, and the school never called the mother. And she said on my channel, right, I allowed her to use my platform to tell her powerful story, and they never called her. And now but to her credit, she was dedicated. She took it upon herself to expose the school board and just try to get the truth, fight for our children, right? There's absolutely no reason why our children should be masked up. Do you agree or not? Exactly. And we're going to stop this. It's Bill Gates and his operatives. You know, it's all about transhumanism. He's been into eugenics. We know he's a con man. He's a prestigious, nefarious liar. Tony Fauci's the same thing. And you know what Dr. Shiva says I found so fascinating? Again, this guy's got a bottoms-up movement. He has a PhD from MIT, 4 degrees. Look him up if you don't know who he is. Dr. Shiva, right? He's exposed the gross election fraud that happened to Trump, saying that Trump should have known about the software. But Dr. Shiva says, you know, about the vaccines, everybody, real quick. The reason why they're focused on vaccines, there's numerous reasons, but the main reason, Big Pharma, he learned, have been losing money. That's right. Part of their industry's been burning down since the 1980s because it takes a lot to get a drug on the market, right? Dr. Shiva and other people have talked about it, right? You got 15, 20 years patent life, you start in vitro, you raise money, and then you got liability at the back end, right? You got advertising costs, right? Well, guess what? And safety testing, quality control. Do we have that when it comes to vaccines? No, right? As Robert F. Kennedy Jr. so clearly shows you, and other people, there's no liability. We know they indemnify the vaccine manufacturers from any lawsuit or liability, particularly the COVID-19 vaccine, right? And it's not just the COVID-19 vaccine. Remember? Robert and his doctors and his amazing staff show you. They got 278 vaccines carved out that they want to release to the public. As Dr. Shiva says, they want it to be SOP, standard operating procedure to protect you from infectious disease. But we know it's not going to do it. And you don't have to be an anti-vaxxer. We're anti-neurotoxin, most of us, are we not? Or all of us? Right? And they layer them with neurotoxins. I'll give you an example real quick, if I may. Bill Gates in Africa, he was giving up to 50 inoculations, immunizations to those children, where the polio's coming out of their fecal matter, and now he's created a polio epidemic. Him and Melinda Gates, Robert and his doctors and other people around the world know it, right? In countries they haven't seen in decades, Africa, India, the Philippines, Afghanistan, and the World Health Organization, the WHO, let's put them on notice for a moment. But to their credit, they admitted 73% of the polio on Earth today is vaccinated strain polio. That means you got it from somebody that's vaccinated. That's Bill Gates' vaccine, everybody, right? And the last thing, just real quick, this is important. Robert talks about this so well. These are called captive agencies, right? The WHO. They get half their money from Big Pharma. They get 10% from guess who? Who is it? Bill Gates. And they will bend over backwards to get that 10%. The CDC. My sister is experienced nurse. Nurses know. They're notoriously corrupt, unfortunately, but we can change that. These are people we did not elect, right? The CDC spends 45% of the budget on vaccines. The FDA gets half their money from Big Pharma, so they're controlled by the industries that they're supposed to regulate, right?
Regulatory capture.
Exactly. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. talks about it so well. And so that's why, as Dr. Shiva says and Robert knows, we're not getting good science, and I agree with him, do you? We're not getting good policy, and we're not getting good regulations. And you know, Dr. Shiva also said something I think that's so profound. He said, we're watching fake science and fake news, and they merge like this, right? But we know the real science, and we know Tony Fauci. I mean, we could talk for hours on this guy, the conniving, sniveling weasel. He's on the leadership board for Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, right? Well, Dr. Shiva had over 300,000 people, I believe, petition in a couple days, months ago, to get him fired. Let's get him fired, my friends. Even though he's in the United States, it affects us Canadians, right? And I compel you, everybody, let's get some people to invite Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Get his buns down here to Toronto, to Canada, and Dr. Shiva, and fight for Canadians, all of us, right? And then we will end a lot of this corruption, and they're not going to get away with mandating vaccines. There's no way. And the reason why they want to do it, everybody, let's talk about the business model, since I haven't been taken down by my buddy here yet. But the business model, everybody, Dr. Shiva tells you, right? They make 17% compounded annual growth each year from vaccines. That's the only way they can survive, and that's for children, right? And we know not one vaccine should ever have been mandated for our precious kids. Am I right? Yeah. Is that a Nazi-esque model? Yeah. Exactly. But now, mothers and fathers, there's no more naive mothers and fathers out there. They know, nurses that are not brainwashed out there know. We know the dangers of vaccines. And certain vaccines for certain people, certain times can work on occasion. This is called personalized precise medicine that Dr. Shiva is an authority on, and it's known. So anyway, everybody, Bill Gates, Tony Fauci, the Clinton Global Initiative, the operatives behind the scenes, Big Pharma, they want to mandate vaccines for adults. But the great news is, they're not going to pull it off in Canada or anywhere, are they? Right? And by the way, in Africa, everybody, they are treating, and in India, Afghanistan, the Philippines, and these poor countries, keep in mind what Bill Gates has done and Tony Fauci. They are literally, as Susan said in an Italian apartment a couple months ago, they're treating them like guinea pigs race. And in Canada, again, Bill Gates, Justin Trudeau, the puppet, Doug Ford, who called us anti-maskers. Are you kidding me? How can you do that? We're going to bring them down. I got to go. Thank you so much for your times, everybody. I appreciate it. I really do. We're in this together. Let's multiply the fires of resistance so they can't suppress all of us, my friends. That's what it comes down to. We're going to win this battle.
Thank you so much.
Great job, brother.
Thank you.
Let's hear it for Jason. Here's your hat, Jason. Your hat.
Thank you.
I think that guy could have went on for another hour. Great job, though, buddy. Great job. Good message. Guys, I just want a couple of one PA announcement. The Drive the Line that usually goes on Sunday is not happening tomorrow. So spread the word. They've canceled it for whatever reason for now. They're going to get it back up again next week. Lamont is still pretty ill right now, and they just decided to cancel it for this week, but it will be up and running again. Guys, I'm going to talk about something really quickly. I know we got a couple of speakers left, and we got to get on the road, but I think it's an important message to talk about. A lot of people now are hearing a lot about common law and hearing what's going on in the world. And I don't know if you heard of Christopher James and the Warrior's Call, but there's something that happens when you're born. When you're born, you're brought into this world with no documentation, no papers, no nothing. And you're birthed in a hospital. And what happens is the hospital produces just a register of your birth. It's not a birth certificate, just documentation saying that a kid was born that day, who the parents are. And then what happens from there is what we call an unlawful conversion. The government, for many countries, but we'll talk about Canada, they come in and they make up a birth certificate. And I know this is hard for people to understand, but Canada is a corporation. And that's all it is. It's a corporation, no different than McDonald's, no different than Burger King, no different than Tim Hortons. It's a corporation. I know this message is going to be hard for people to digest, but what happens is that corporation creates a birth certificate. Unbeknownst to you what they're doing with it, they take that birth certificate, and if you look on the back of the birth certificate and all your government ID, there's a number on it. On the back of your birth certificate is a QSIP number. And what that is, when you're born, the government, unbeknownst to you, takes out a bond against you from the world banks, and they estimate how much tax dollars they're going to get off you in your lifetime. And that's what they do. They take that money then, and they trade it on the stock market, and you become, essentially, a slave. That's the truth that most people don't know that need to know. So we have rights outside of that. What would you do if you were born and McDonald's showed up and gave you a piece of paper and said, hey, that's you? You'd laugh at it, right? But that's exactly what has happened with the Service Corporation in Canada. They created a document, and that document is all caps letters. And that all caps letters, when you capitalize something, it reduces the man. It reduces you to a lesser capacity. And then, foolishly, unbeknownst to us, we start acting in that capacity, and we start acting as that corporation. They've created a corporation in your name. It's an unlawful trespass, unlawful conversion. I know that you guys really don't know what to do with this, but what happens then with that documentation, like I said, they trade it on the stock market, they make money off you. Then they end up passing statutes, acts, laws, and all that under the corporation. Those laws, acts, statutes, and everything only apply to that legal fiction. It doesn't apply to you, the man or woman. As long as you act in that capacity, they can impose those restrictions on you, those acts, statutes, and all that, right? So if you stand in common law, you can actually you don't have to worry about the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, you don't have to worry about their corporation. And there's people doing that all over the world right now. And as I'm speaking right now, or maybe in a couple of hours from now, Christopher James from A Warrior's Call, I encourage everyone to look him up. He's speaking through video imaging, or whatever you call it, with Dolores Cahill from Ireland, and they're going to be speaking in Calgary. There's a protest going on out there. I encourage everyone to look them up, and
he has right now a bunch of common law cases before the courts. He has one in Milton, Ontario that he's been working on for a couple of years, and right now the government don't know what to do, the courts don't know what to do with it. Everyone has a right, as a man or a woman, to access your public courthouses through common law. When you move into their courthouse and you use their documentation, you are acting in the rules of civil procedure. Civil procedure applies to the corporation. If you step outside of the corporation and know your rights, and you stand in common law, you can be free. And it's happening. On that note, I'm going to end it because we got a couple more speakers. I encourage anyone that is looking to open their business to come and see me. Because what you can do, and it's being done, there's several people doing it, but there's a gentleman in Burlington right now. His name is Tim. He's got a water shop, bottled water, and Tim. You know Tim? There you go. So he's got a water shop. So about 6 weeks ago, he had some bylaw officers come in and scold him for not wearing a mask. Started scolding a couple of customers. One lady left actually crying. He kicked them out of the store. Reached out to Christopher James because he knew him. Christopher James produced a document and basically told them, you have no jurisdiction over him, the man. He done up the paperwork. I have the same paperwork here, and the bylaw officers haven't been there in 6 weeks. They phone him and ask him if they can come. His message to them is, you can come if you're buying water, if you show up here in your capacity under, and he also called out the mayor of Burlington, and all the agents that act underneath them. And he put them on notice. And he said, if you guys come into my business, $25,000 fine trespass per person that enters. And he's kept them at bay. This message needs to be known. And I know Adamson's Barbecue, you know, he went the legal route, and I applaud the man. He's got some big balls. What he did was amazing. But there's another way. So I'm just going to leave it at that. We got a couple more speakers up here. Look into common law. Check out Christopher James, a warrior calls. Don't get confused when you go on there. There's a warrior's call. It's not that. It's a warrior calls. Christopher James. Look him up. All right, we're going to get Bridget and Zoe up here from the Lion Youth League. Say a couple of words. Let's hear it for the young kids here, because that's what this is all about.
Hi everyone. We're here with the Lion Youth League, and I think today we'd like to specifically call on all the parents that are in the crowd or watching online. Last week we tried to talk to the kids, but I want to talk to the parents today. So, well, we have to ask the question, what are we here for? And there's a lot of things you could say. Some people like to be specific and go into, well, I'm an advocate for not mandating the vaccines or for farmers, but overall, what are we here for? We're here for the people before us who fought for our freedoms, to uphold that. And more than that, the generations after us. The generations after us, because we're the ones who have to live with what we leave here. What you leave is what the people after you have to live with. This is what we have to deal with. Last week we said that we are the ones who have to pay the taxes for this. We didn't ask for this. So I ask that if you are parents, and this is why I'd like to stress the importance of getting kids involved, because we're here for each other and we want to fix it. So if you're a parent, you can contact us at theline.youthleague, theline.youthleague on Instagram. Or we're at the same event right now. Come talk to us. We're here smiling, asking to meet people. Every single week we're here. So just come talk to us and we can connect. I know that there are parents who want their kids to get involved, but they have no one to talk to. Well, guess what? We're here now. Come talk to us.
That was very well said. I just wanted to say, my friend Earl, he's homeless. He asked me to share his story up here. So I just want to thank you, Earl, if you see this. Thank you for letting me share your story, because this is very similar to a lot of what's happening to a lot of people on the streets. Earl, he used to work in Calgary, Alberta, He was there for 11 years working at a hotel. He lived there. He got his last paycheck in March, and he with 24 other chefs had to leave, and this was the only place he called home. He used his last paycheck to take his flight to Toronto and ended up homeless here. The rest of his money is going to child support for his daughter, who's I think 12 years old. So I don't know, it's everybody keeps asking me, or whenever I'm doing outreach or anything, are there really that many homeless that have become homeless because of this lockdown? The thing is, you just don't hear their stories because you don't want to talk to them. You don't want to go up to them and say hi, smile at them, or hug them because you're scared of them. You think they're going to kill you because they're living on the streets, because they have your supposed dangerous virus, or that you can affect them. And you know what? That just hurts. Hurts so much. Hurts that he isn't able to see his daughter in Calgary, because that affects his child too. And so, Earl and anybody else with a similar story like that, you can reach out to us. We're all here for you guys. We're here for the kids. We're here for the vulnerable. So I just wanted to share his story because these stories aren't being told at all. Okay? So, okay, well, I think we're both finished here.
So, just to reiterate, if you are trying to get a hold of us and you can't this week for whatever reason, we're here next week. We're on Instagram at theline.youthleague, and our email, if you want to talk to us via email, youthleague@theline.canada.com. Just come talk to us.
Woo! Great job, ladies. Let's hear it for the lovely ladies. That's our future, guys. That's what it's all about. That's what we're fighting this for. Bridget and Zoe, great job. I'm going to get Paul up here real quick. Paul Irwin, he's going to talk about Druthers. He's got some literature that they're putting out, and they're kicking ass and making waves. So let's hear it for Paul.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, short and sweet once again. My lovely lady Grayson is handing out the flyers right under the visitor information thing. There's a bit of shelter. So yeah, they'll be there. Like, go, like, you can throw a donation if you want. I don't really care, to tell you the truth. I just want to push these things as much as possible, because that's what's getting out to people. That's what's gonna show people who what they can do, right? Because it's at the stage now where a lot of people are awake. Like, everyone I talk to with these flyers, like, I don't even have to say anything. A lot of the places I go, like, they don't even ask me for them. They can just read it on my face, and I'm not gonna have any of that, you know. So if you got flyers with you, newspapers with you, boom, done, easy. Once again, the newspapers, Sean Jason is over there, he's got newspapers, and yeah, let's just keep it going, all right? And don't let the weather be an excuse. Like, we should be filling this square, regardless, all right? Keep coming out. Peace. Oh, yeah, wait. Oh, the stickers, and the sticker, yeah, the stickers are huge.
Find out who's new here. Who's just
Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you. Hey, this is a flyer guy himself. Here, step up. This is a flyer guy himself right here. His name's Ian. He's a crazy mofo like myself. He walks up and down the streets with a megaphone. He walks in the stores with a megaphone. He's got a big mouth, just like myself, just like all of us need to have.
We can do this, people. And all we need to do is just break out, go a little bit wider than what we're doing. Just change direction. Drive through the malls. Just tell people there's a COVID test station around the corner. Tell them that they don't need to get tested. Be loud. That's it. Disrupt.
So who's new?
Okay, guys, apparently we're missing there's a little child. He's 7 years old. His name is Iban. That's him.
Oh, well done.
Woo! Yeah! Give it up for Iban! And that brings up my next point. I'm curious to know who is new here? Whose first time is it here? Right, by show of hands. Yeah? Vancouver? Awesome. So how did you guys find out about it?
You guys all the time in Vancouver because I hate the diaper over my face.
Yeah. So you've been doing it in Vancouver. How about you? How did you hear about it? Walking down here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm full.
How do you like it? How do you like it?
Yeah, yo, I like this shit better than in the summer I saw Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
And they were trying to tell me history. My friend comes from Nova Scotia. They were trying to tell me history, and I was looking at it, and I was like, yo, who the fuck told you this? Who the fuck told you this?
And that's what we need. We need to bring all cultures together, all races, all skin colors. You know, the way the media puts it out there, it's a load of garbage. It's disgraceful. We need the black communities and stuff to step up and more, because it's total disrespect to them, right? And yeah, this is not political. That's what's so good about this. It's everybody as a freedom fighter, as an individual, saying we're not standing for this. Right? And and then the last thing is the stickers, like Ian was saying, the stickers right here. Anywhere, everywhere. You know, you could be conspicuous about it, or you could be a big mouth like me and do it right in front of everyone's face and just stick them all over the place. You know, with consideration, you don't want to get arrested, but, you know, stick them all over the place. And when people are all on the same page, they've had enough, and they see these stickers, it tells them where to go, Young and Dundas, and there's messages on them, right? So the stickers are over there as well. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Let's hear it for Paul, everyone.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up soon anyway. Okay.
Get the vaccine without parental or part in the
States, right?
well, it's in the world that they're trying to get it so that the teachers and parents do not know.
Guys, I just want to mention something. A
children
lady
are
here
being
just mentioned something to me that I know a little bit about, but not a lot.
I'll come and talk to you later.
She's going to mention that it's in the States, I don't think it's in Canada, but 11-year-olds right now are allowed to take the vaccine without even their parents knowing. They can ask an 11-year-old kid, or a teacher, yeah, and they can keep it secretive from their parents. I mean, that's how sick this thing is, right? I think we all understand that.
I've been a nurse for 50 years in hemodialysis, in blood, and these people are trying to inoculate our children. Anyone over 11 years old without teacher's consent or parental consent can be taken to the nurse's office and given the inoculation. We will not be told by insurance companies. It's secret, so insurance companies don't have to tell us, and nobody has to tell. The person that administered the vaccine does not have to tell the teachers or the parents. Mothers, these are our children. Please help! Please help!
Thank you very much. Okay, guys, I know we're getting a little light here now. We got one more speaker. It's going to come up. His name is Anthony, and he's a political science major from Laurier. He's just got a couple of words to say. And if Chris Sky is here, come on up next. If not, I think we're going to wrap it up.
Thank you, sir. What's your name?
My name's Dermot.
Thank you, Dermot. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Thank you. So, yeah, I got my degree from political science, but let's get real here. I'm no smarter than any one of you guys. You guys have all done your research. You guys are all educated in your own way, and I appreciate that. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I came down here from small town Ontario. I make my way down every week that I can make it out here. I'm happy to do it. But one thing that I want to encourage each and every one of you to remember and what to do is hold your elected officials accountable. Each of us have elected officials at the municipal, the provincial, and the federal level. We all have an MP, we all have an MPP, we all have councillors and mayors. Start asking the good questions. All of us, all the town hall meetings that we all love to ignore and read about in the next day paper, let's start showing up to those meetings. Let's start asking the good questions. Let's see what they have to say, because here's the reality. They're trying to censor us. I've experienced it. I know there's people here who have experienced it. Let's continue doing what we're doing. Let's continue to wake up our hometowns, whether you're from Toronto or whether you're from the boonies like myself. That's what we need to do. This movement that we have created is a grassroots movement. It's going to start from the bottom. It's going to work its way up. We need to get the people in